I can answer the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
If Lieutenant Kendrick gave an order that Santiago wasn't to be touched.
If you are looking for an old classic that features a series of courtroom dramas and clashes of values in a typical American society, then A Few Good Men is the perfect choice. The masterpiece has attracted so many positive reviews, along with a few criticisms. Join us today as we uncover 20 weird facts you probably didn't know about A Few Good Men. Number 20. Aaron Sorkin wrote the play on bar napkins while bartending. Aaron Sorkin's older sister, Deborah, had recently joined the Navy JAG Corps after she graduated from law school. She suddenly called him one Sunday morning, telling him about how a case she was working on involving hazing went wrong at the U.S. military base in Guantanamo Bay. She was then accused when they said they were ordered to do it by a superior, involving a code red. Aaron Sorkin was working as a bartender at Broadway's Palace Theater then. It was there he got the inspiration for A Few Good Men. So, while patrons were taking in the first act of La Cage aux Folles, he started writing the script on some cocktail napkins. He went home that night and typed up what he had written on the napkins on a Macintosh 512K he and his roommates had purchased. Anytime he returned home, he would empty his pockets of the napkins and type them into the computer, forming a basis from which he wrote many drafts. Aaron Sorkin was born on June 9, 1960 in Manhattan, New York City. He was raised in a Jewish family in the New York suburb of Scarsdale. His mother was a school teacher while his father was a copyright lawyer who had fought in World War II and went to college on the GI Bill. His older sister and brother became lawyers. His paternal grandfather was one of the founders of the International Ladies Garment Workers Union, ILGWU. Aaron Sorkin was born after his brother, born before him, named Danny, who died at birth. He has also referred to himself as the understudy. I don't want to analyze myself, but I know this to be true. I enter the world through what I write. I grew up believing and continue to believe that I am a screw-up, that growing up with my family and friends, I had nothing to offer in any conversation. But when I started writing, suddenly there was something that I brought to the party that was at a high enough level, he said. Aaron Sorkin has also written for theater, film, and television. And in each medium, his level of collaboration with other creators has varied. He started in the theater, which involved a largely solitary writing process, then moved into film, where he collaborated with director Rob Reiner and screenwriter William Goldman, and eventually worked in television, where he collaborated very closely with director Thomas Schlam for nearly a decade on the shows Sports Night, The West Wing, and Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. The American screenwriter, playwright, and film director now moves between all three media. He once nursed a habit of chain smoking while he spent long hours plotting out scripts in his office. Then, in 2022, he quit smoking after he suffered a stroke. The talented writer describes his writing process as physical, because he often stands up and speaks the dialogue he is developing. Number 19. The film rights were sold before the play debuted. Aaron Sorkin was finally done after long nights of transferring words from napkins to the computer. He sold his play's film rights to producer David Brown before it premiered in 1988 in a deal reportedly well into six figures. David Brown had read a New York Times article about Sorkin's one-act play hidden in this picture, and he learned that Sorkin also had a play called A Few Good Men that was having off-Broadway readings. Around that time, David Brown was producing a few projects at TriStar Pictures and tried to interest them in adapting A Few Good Men, but his proposal was declined due to the lack of star actors. In 1990, Variety announced that the film would be financed by Group Canal Plus and Brown's company World Film Services. Later, David Brown received a call from Alan Horn at Castle Rock Entertainment, who was anxious to make the film. Rob Reiner, a producing partner at Castle Rock Entertainment, opted to direct. The film's production budget was estimated between $33 and $40 million. On March 22, 1991, Tom Cruise was cast as Kaffee and was given a $12.5 million salary. Demi Moore was cast as Galloway. Wolfgang Bodison was a film location scout when he was asked to take part in a screen test for the part of Dawson. James Woods auditioned to play Jessup, but Jack Nicholson was cast. The play ran for nearly 500 performances on Broadway and starred Tom Hulce, Clark Gregg, Stephen Lang, Bradley Whitford, and Ron Perlman. It was also performed off-Broadway with Jensen Ackles, John Barrowman, Michael O'Keefe. Number 18. The play was rewritten for the screen. After David Brown bought the script from Aaron Sorkin, he got Castle Rock on board to produce A Few Good Men, and Castle Rock honcho Rob Reiner decided to direct. He and Aaron Sorkin began turning the stage play into a movie script. Legendary screenwriter William Goldman did an uncredited rewrite, but Sorkin did not mind. He even inserted ideas from the reworked screenplay into the stage version. Number 17. One of its actors came from an unexpected source. Director Rob Reiner couldn't find anybody he liked to play the part of Lance Corporal Dawson. Still, a particular guy made an exception. The director felt he had the right presence for that role, and that guy was Wolfgang Bodison. At first, Reiner made Bodison his location manager for the film's production. However, when Rob Reiner had trouble casting for the role of Lance Corporal, Harold Dawson, who is a young Marine on trial for the murder of a private, decided to try Wolfgang Bodison. We were talking and he said, "Wolf, have you ever acted?" Bodison said. I said, "No, man." He said, "Ever thought about it?" "No." He said, "Well, I'm trying to cast the movie, and I haven't found anyone for Dawson who fits my vision. Why don't you read for it?" Since Bodison had never acted before, he hired Julie Areola, an acting coach. "He's a very creative and intelligent kid," Areola said. "He was like a sponge. He took every suggestion." In August 1991, shortly after Wolfgang Bodison's audition, he was called back to read again. 3 days later, I stopped at a payphone, called Rob, and he said, "Wolf, welcome to the movie business." Bodison said, "Man, I damn near dropped the phone. Then I went home and sat down in front of my window. I thought, what in the hell is going on? I wasn't the least bit surprised he got the job," said Areola on Bodison getting what became his most well-known role. Destiny, that's what it was. He also won the role of Dawson and acted in several other films after that. Brian Wolfgang Bodison was born on November 1966 in Washington, D.C. His mother, Dorothea Bodison, worked for the National Institutes of Health, and he lost his father in a car accident when he was still a child. In 1988, he graduated from the University of Virginia in Charlottesville, Virginia, where he played football as a team member of the Virginia Cavaliers and earned a degree in fine arts. Rob Reiner made Bodison his assistant on the set of Misery 1990. At that time, Wolfgang Bodison aspired to become a screenwriter and film director and would take notes on Reiner's direction. In 1991, Bodison was also credited as the picture car coordinator for John Singleton's film, Boys N the Hood. "My job was to go into South Central and get some of the car clubs interested in the movie," Bodison said. Number 16. Only one actor from the stage version is in the film. A Few Good Men is filled with big stars and celebrity actors. Big stars like Kevin Bacon, Kiefer Sutherland, and Kevin Pollak. However, only one person from the stage play maintained their role in the movie. That person was Josh Malina, and he starred as Jessup's clerk. Josh Malina initially contacted Aaron Sorkin at his parents' suggestion when he first went to New York City, after they learned that Sorkin was a high school classmate and friend of Malina's cousins. The cousins in turn had spoken highly of Malina to Sorkin, who suggested he audition for the play. Malina has joked in interviews that Sorkin's casting him in subsequent productions may be owed to the fact that he once performed the Heimlich maneuver on Sorkin, saving his life when the writer began to choke while eating a hamburger at a bowling match with the cast of the play. He has since appeared in many Sorkin films and TV projects. Joshua Malina appeared both in the Broadway play and in the movie. It was also the first movie for Joshua Malina. Malina had played PFC Downey in the stage production before his role as Colonel Jessup's clerk in the film. Joshua Malina was born on January 17, 1966 in New York City. His parents, Fran and Robert Malina, were founding members of Young Israel of Scarsdale in New Rochelle, where he grew up. His father was an attorney, investment banker, and Broadway producer. The actor has commented that while the name Malina does not sound Jewish to most people, and often leads them to assume he is Latino due to confusion with the Spanish surname Molina. The name is Czech in origin, from the Czech word for raspberry. Joshua Molina, an American film and stage actor, attended middle school at Westchester Day School and high school at the Horace Mann School. He earned a BA in theater from Yale University. At Yale, he was a member of the Spizwinks, an a cappella group, together with fellow actor Noah Emmerich. Number 15. Nicholson had one issue with the film. Known as Commanding Officer Colonel Nathan Jessup in A Few Good Men, Jack Nicholson certainly can't complain about his payday, even if he found one thing to be annoyed about. The release date for A Few Good Men was in December 1992, and this happened to be the same day that the movie Hoffa was planned for release. If you're wondering what correlation there is, Jack Nicholson starred in Hoffa. He later criticized Columbia Pictures for moving the film's release date to compete with his other film that year, Hoffa. John Jack Nicholson was born on April 22, 1937, in Neptune City, New Jersey. He is the son of a showgirl, June Frances Nicholson, whose stage name was June Nilsson. Nicholson's mother was of Irish, English, German, and Welsh descent. Nicholson has identified as Irish, comparing himself to the playwright Eugene O'Neill, whom he played in the film Red in 1981. "I'm not saying I'm as dark as he was, but I am a writer, I am Irish, and I have had problems with my family." His mother married Italian-American showman Donald Fursillo, whose stage name was Donald Rose, in 1936 before she realized he was already married. Biographer Patrick McGilligan stated in his book Jack's Life that Latvian-born Eddie King, originally Edgar A. Kirschfeld, June's manager, may have been Nicholson's biological father rather than Fursillo. Other sources suggest June Nicholson was unsure of the father's identity. American retired actor and filmmaker Nicholson is widely regarded as one of the greatest actors of the 20th century, often playing rebels fighting against the social structure. Number 14. There was no inspiration for Tom Cruise's character. Little did Aaron Sorkin and Ron Reiner know there would be murmurings about the inspiration for Tom Cruise's character of Lieutenant Daniel Kaffee for years. This includes former JAG lawyers like Don Marcari and David Iglesias. However, in an interview in 2011, Aaron Sorkin said that Kaffee is entirely fictional and has no real-life inspiration. Aside from these allegations against Tom Cruise's character, the star actor did outplay himself in the film. Tom Cruise quoting Colonel Jessup was in the script, but the actor decided to do a Nicholson impression on the spot. Nobody expected it, so Moore and Pollack's reaction in that scene is genuine. American actor and film producer Tom Cruise was born on July 3, 1962 in Syracuse, New York, to electrical engineer Thomas Cruise Mapother III and special education teacher Mary Lee. His parents were both from Louisville, Kentucky, and had English, German, and Irish ancestry. Tom Cruise has three sisters named Leanne, Marion, and Cass. One of his cousins, William Mapother, is also an actor who has appeared alongside Cruise in 5 films. Tom Cruise grew up in near poverty and had a Catholic upbringing. He later described his father as a merchant of chaos, a bully, and a coward who beat his children. He elaborated, "My father was the kind of person who would kick you if something went wrong. It was a great lesson in my life how he'd lull you in, make you feel safe, and then, bang. For me it was like, there's something wrong with this guy. Don't trust him. Be careful around him." Then, in 1984, Tom Cruise's biological father passed away as a result of cancer. He is regarded as a Hollywood icon and has received various accolades, including an honorary Palme d'Or and 3 Golden Globe Awards and nominations for 4 Academy Awards. To date, he is consistently one of the world's highest-paid actors. Number 13. Tom Cruise saw T.G. Broadway play before signing on to play L.T. Kaffee. Aside from wowing the audience with his unique acting skills, Tom Cruise performed in the Broadway play before he got signed to play L.T. Kaffee in A Few Good Men. He also insisted on learning the script's legalese dialogue. Number 12. A Few Good Men is heavy on the sirs. People often like to talk about how the F word is usually said in a film. Although there are a few swearing in A Few Good Men, The word that gets a real workout in this movie is sir. That word, often used by military members, is reportedly said 164 times during the film. Number 11. The Defense Department refused to endorse the film. Little did the film's producers know that the Marine Corps would later criticize A Few Good Men for its unfavorable depiction of Marine culture. They sure weren't prepared for it. In declassified documents, the U.S. Department of Defense stated before the film's release that it did not provide all the support that Castle Rock Pictures asked for in the production of the film. After the military was able to review drafts of the script, the DoD asked for Demi Moore's character to be changed from a Navy officer to a Marine and sought to have Markinson's character not commit suicide. The Pentagon then refused to allow the film to be screened on military bases. Number 10. Kevin Pollak's mother hit on Jack Nicholson. Kevin Pollak, who starred as Lieutenant Sam Weinberg in A Few Good Men, wrote about the incident in his book How I Slept My Way to the Middle and recalled the story during an appearance on Conan. Kevin Pollak recalls Jack Nicholson asking him mid-scene, "Kev, get your mom off my wow," after his mother tried hitting on Nicholson while filming A Few Good Men. He also shares how Nicholson shut down direction from Rob Reiner with a cool, "I guess I'm not there yet," because Jack doesn't need coaching. Kevin Pollak was born on October 30, 1957 in San Francisco, California. He is the younger son of Elaine Klein and Robert Pollak. He has one older brother, Craig, who lives in San Jose, California, and he attended high school at Pioneer High School in San Jose. Kevin Pollak was raised in Reform Judaism. Number 9. Tom Cruise and Demi Moore were supposed to have a SX scene in the script. Lieutenant Daniel Kaffee and Lieutenant Commander Joanne Galloway had a SX scene in the script, but it was dropped since there was no reason. Demi Moore, who starred as Lieutenant Commander Joanne Galloway, was 8 months pregnant when she got the role. Demi Moore was born Demi Jean Guine on November 11, 1962 in Roswell, New Mexico. Her biological father, Air Force Airman Charles Foster Harmon Sr., deserted her then 18-year-old mother, Virginia, after a 2-month marriage before Moore's birth. Charles came from Lanett, Alabama, and Virginia was born in Richmond, California, but had grown up in Roswell. Demi Moore's maternal grandmother was raised on a farm in Elida, New Mexico. She has deep roots in the south central and southern United States, particularly Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Georgia. When Moore was 3 months old, her mother married Dan Gines, a newspaper advertising salesman who frequently changed jobs. As a result, the family moved many times. In 1967, they had Moore's half-brother Morgan. Moore said in 1991, "My dad is Dan Gines. He raised me. There is a man who would be considered my biological father, whom I don't have a relationship with." Moore has half-siblings from Charlie Harmon's other marriages, but she does not keep in touch with them either. American actress Demi Moore became the world's highest-paid actress in 1995. Her accolades include a Golden Globe Award, a Screen Actors Guild Award, and nominations for an Academy Award and an Emmy Award. In 2025, she appeared on Time's 100 Most Influential People in the World list. Number 8. Nicholson did a lot more work than he had to did. Jack Nicholson recite the famous courtroom speech approximately 40 to 50 times. He did that at full intensity every time, even for all of the shots of Tom Cruise, Demi Moore, Kevin Pollak, Kevin Bacon, and the rest of the courtroom, simply reacting to what he was saying. Jack Nicholson said he was quite spent when he finished. Number 7. A Few Good Men was the first acting job for Wolfgang Bodison. Wolfgang Bodison wasn't an actor, but a location scout and former assistant for director Rob Reiner. Reiner thought he looked like a Marine, so he cast him in the movie. Bodison continues to work as an actor and has appeared on Agents of SHIELD. Number 6. Jack Nicholson was paid $5 million for 10 days of work. Jack Nicholson, as Colonel Nathan R. Jessup, was in just 3 scenes in the movie. Technically, he worked an extra morning for free when Reiner and crew didn't get all of his footage shot in time. He was paid $1 million for 10 days of shooting, earning $500,000 a day. Nicholson said, "It was one of the few times when it was money well spent." Number 5. Kiefer Sutherland was a bad driver. Kiefer Sutherland, who starred as Lieutenant Jonathan Kendrick, was terrible at driving the Humvee, so he took Cruise, Moore, and Kevin Pollak around base. Kiefer Sutherland accidentally hit several Marines with the wide vehicle as he went through them as they marched. On September 25, 2007, Kiefer Sutherland was charged in Los Angeles on drunk driving charges after failing a field sobriety test. His test exceeded the state's legal blood alcohol limit, and he was later released on a $25,000 bail. That was Sutherland's fourth DUI charge since 1989. Kiefer Sutherland pleaded no contest to the DUI charge and was sentenced to 48 days in jail. Kiefer Sutherland was born on December 21, 1966 at St. Mary's Hospital in the Paddington district of London, to Donald Sutherland and Shirley Douglas, both successful Canadian actors who had been living and working in England. He has a twin sister, Rachel Sutherland, a post-production film supervisor. His maternal grandfather was a Scottish-born Canadian politician, the former Premier of Saskatchewan, Tommy Douglas, who is widely credited with bringing universal health care to Canada. Kiefer Sutherland is named after American-born writer and director Warren Kiefer, who directed Donald Sutherland in his first feature film, Castle of the Living Dead. When Sutherland was a baby, his mother was arrested by the FBI and charged with conspiracy to possess unregistered explosives, but was later exonerated. Number 4. There was a lot of discussion about Galloway. An unnamed executive wrote to Aaron Sorkin, "If Tom Cruise and Demi Moore aren't going to sleep with each other, why is Demi Moore a woman?" Sorkin responded, "I said the obvious answer. Women have purposes other than to sleep with Tom Cruise." He claimed the incident was his worst experience as a screenwriter. Demi Moore said she wanted the part in the first place because Galloway was a genderless role. In his 2.5-star review, Roger Ebert wrote that a friend of his intuited that Galloway was originally written as a man. In Aaron Sorkin's third screenplay draft, dated months before shooting, the movie ends with Kathy asking Galloway out on a date. She tells him to wear matching socks, like she did before the first day of the trial. That exchange did not make it into the movie. Number 3. The movie produced an iconic quote. Even if you have never seen A Few Good Men, you almost surely know the line, "You can't handle the truth." That line has permeated pop culture and the world in general. When AFI put together its list of the 100 best movie quotes, that line finished at 29th. Number 2. 4 lawyers have claimed Kathy's character was based on them. 4 men all played a role in Deborah Sorkin's Guantanamo Bay case, where 10 Marines faced assault charges, each with his lawyer. One advertised on his law firm's website that his exploits became the basis for Kathy, and it was great for his career. Through a spokesman, Aaron Sorkin told the New York Times that Kathy wasn't based on anybody. The role Jessup was, according to Jack Nicholson, who recalled 2 Marine generals on set as consultants. They both knew the actual Jessup and his story. Number 1. Writer Aaron Sorkin based the original play on a real incident. Writer Aaron Sorkin based the original play on a real incident involving a code red being given and a Marine nearly being killed by the beating. Aaron Sorkin's sister Deborah would defend the Marines given the beating. In the real incident, U.S. Marine David Cox was convicted only of assault and given an honorable discharge. However, years later, when he saw A Few Good Men and realized it was based on his incident, he joined a lawsuit against the movie producers for unauthorized use of his life. Several months later, however, David Cox was shot 4 times and killed. His murder remains unsolved. A Few Good Men is a 1992 American legal drama film based on Aaron Sorkin's 1989 play, produced by Castle Rock Entertainment, financed and distributed by Columbia Pictures. It was written by Aaron Sorkin, directed by Rob Reiner, and produced by Reiner, David Brown, and Andrew Scheinman. The film stars an ensemble cast including Tom Cruise, Jack Nicholson, Demi Moore, Kevin Bacon, Kevin Pollak, J.T. Walsh, Cuba Gooding Jr., and Kiefer Sutherland. The plot follows the court-martial of 2 U.S. Marines charged with the murder of a fellow Marine and the tribulations of their lawyers as they prepare a case. The film premiered on December 9, 1992 at Westwood, Los Angeles, and was released in the United States on December 11. It has received acclaim for its screenwriting, direction, themes, and acting, particularly that of Tom Cruise, Jack Nicholson, and Demi Moore. It grossed over $243 million on a budget of $40 million and was nominated for 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. A Few Good Men debuted at the top of the U.S. box office and stayed there for the next 3 weeks. Columbia TriStar Home Video released the film on VHS and Laserdisc on June 30, 1993, and on DVD on October 7, 1997. The VHS was again released along with a DVD release on May 29, 2001, and later, a Blu-ray release followed on September 8, 2007. A good film will attract a lot of positive reviews and criticisms. Here are a few of them. A fan wrote, "A Few Good Men is a timeless classic that always captivates me. The chemistry between the main characters is electric, and the performances are nothing short of extraordinary." Another fan wrote, "An amazing movie starring Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson, who went over the moon with their roles. The best scene of acting I have ever watched. A must-watch for every living organism is the court scene at the end. This is in my top 3 of all-time movies. I was blown away when I watched it at the theater's release. I can't tell you how many times I've watched it since," someone wrote. "Best movie ever. Hands down my favorite movie. I was a sophomore in high school when this film was released. I remember all the buzz and the chatter from critics and movie lovers. It was not until my adult years, 30, that I began to appreciate this film's work. The cast is amazing," an excited and satisfied fan wrote. "If you haven't seen the movie yet, you should probably do so." What do you think about these 20 facts? Do you believe the legendary Tom Cruise killed his role? Please, let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share the video, and subscribe to this channel for more interesting content.